Hi, I'm Tom. In this video, we're going to talk about the visa extensions to the 31st of July. You may have already applied for an extension under the coronavirus provisions in the UK until the end of this month, so the 31st of May. But that's now been extended, and I'm going to go through how you can apply for an extension if you haven't applied yet. So this is the letter that you would receive. You may have already received it if you applied under the older provisions. So it says, thank you for contacting the coronavirus immigration team. I confirm that you're permitted to remain beyond your 180 stay. That's it, in this case, it was my client had to stay only and under a visitor visa for 180 days with the same conditions that you are already here in the UK under until 31st of May. Now, if you've already applied, then you don't need to make a further application to apply. There's an automatic extension. But if you haven't applied yet, then you should. And let's just go through what the guidance is and how you can apply. This is the form, which I'll go through in detail in a minute. So the position now is if you're in the UK and your leave expires between 24th of January 2020 and 31st of July 2020, then your visa will be extended until 31st of July 2020 if you cannot leave the UK because of the travel restrictions or self-isolation related to the coronavirus. If you've already had your visa extended to 31st of May 2020, then your visa will be extended automatically until 31st of July 2020. And it also says you will be expected to return to your home country as soon as it's safe and possible to do so. Now, there's a box in the form here. Let's just go to that, which requires you to give your reasons. It says reasons for remaining in the UK, e.g. flight restrictions or self-isolation. Now, I'll just give you some examples of where my clients have done this. I mean, in one case, it was in relation to a child. In other words, they had a young child, and it wouldn't be appropriate to get on a plane in these circumstances and potentially expose the child to other passengers and a risk of contracting coronavirus. In another case, it was to do with their situation at home and the fact that there were vulnerable people at their home, their country of origin. So if they were to return there from the UK, they would have nowhere else to live, and the only place to live would be in a place where it would expose their close relatives to or potentially expose them to coronavirus where they were vulnerable. So I think this is going to be quite fact specific, and it may be that you can rely on the domestic provisions, in other words, requiring people to exercise caution, not to go out unless it's necessary. But it's on the basis of my reading that those sort of reasons alone may not be sufficient. That it very much depends on the facts, and as it states here, just go back to the guidance. You will be expected to return to your home country as soon as it's safe and possible to do so. Now, some of my clients haven't needed to lodge this extension because they have made applications to stay in the UK long term through other visa routes. And exceptionally now, you can do this in country. You can make an in-country application in circumstances where otherwise you would need to do an out-of-country application. So I have clients who have applied for startup visas, innovator visas, a client who's applying for the investor visa, all in country in circumstances where they would otherwise be required to make those applications out of country. And if you've done that, then you don't need to use this form to apply. So it says you can apply from the UK to switch to a long-term UK visa, which is any visa longer than 6 months, until 31st of July 2020, if your leave expires between 24th of January and 31st of July 2020, this includes applications where you would usually need to apply for a visa from your home country. You'll need to meet the requirements of the route you're applying for and pay the UK application fee, so in order for it to be recognised as a valid application. This includes those whose leave has already been extended to 31st of July 2020. And you can apply online, and the terms of your leave will remain the same until your application is decided. So it's very similar to the situations where Section 3C leave under the Immigration Act would normally apply. And the current position is that the application and service centres in the UK are closed, and it says some UK visa and citizenship applications will reopen for existing customers from the 1st of June 2020. And you can check, this is jurisdiction specific, so you can check by going through the UKVCAS site. And then it says service and support centres are temporarily closed because of the coronavirus. So just to go to the form, so you access the form by clicking on this link in this grey box. You must request an extension by updating your records with the coronavirus immigration team. So let's just go to that. So the information that you enter, in some cases, you won't have been given a visa expiry date. Let's say if you've come in under a visitor permission, but the rule of thumb is 180 days. So I'd calculate it on that basis. If, for example, you're a non-visa national and you've come in on visitor permission, but you don't have a stamp, then I would just treat it as being 180 days in the last 12 months. Again, not everyone will have a Home Office reference, VAF reference, or GWF reference. So you can just say not applicable. But I would use the full character limit of 500 available to explain why you can't return. So you can just explain the reasons there. So that is the process for applying, and once you do apply in that way, then you can receive a letter which you'll receive by email, which is set out here. And it will say confirmation of extension. And in this case, it will state that your leave has been expired up to the 31st of July. So these are, of course, important matters. This is for general information purposes. If you do require legal advice, then you should take a specific legal advice on your circumstances. But I hope this is a helpful overview of what you need to do. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.